Did you know that there is an amazing secret muscle that most people don't even know about that can crack your bench and allow you to take your bench to new, higher heights? Yes, I know it sounds magical, but lower traps is absolutely phenomenal when it comes to bench press. Most people know how to contract their shoulder blades, but they don't know how to engage and contract their lower traps, which will allow you to create way more stability. It will help you to prevent shoulder issues and really get so much stronger in the bench press. So this is how you can learn to engage your lower traps to crack the code of the bench. And it's lat pull downs. So lat pull downs is a great exercise to learn how to, first of all, engage the lower traps. How are you supposed to contract and retract your shoulder blades to allow your lower traps to be working more than, for example, your upper traps or just your lats or shoulders, etc. So lat pull downs is amazing. However, when you do lat pull downs, you cannot just do them strict or use the same traditional technique that we find in normal lat pull downs to engage the lats. The point of it is to engage the lower traps, which means the technique is going to be different. But if you start doing it as a warm-up, let's say 6 reps, 3 sets, it will be amazing. And especially if you do it the right way, you film yourself, you're aware of your technique, it's gonna be mind-blowing. So this is how you do it.
Start with gripping the bar with your thumbs on the upside so you have a loose grip and can relax your forearms. Now you want to contract your shoulder blades and your lower traps down towards your glutes. So not back, not up. Push them down towards your glutes by pushing shoulder blades down and your chest up, as you can see me doing here. This allows me to contract the lower traps. When I have the engagement between my shoulder blades down and my lower traps, I will slowly go down to my shin, and I will make sure that my elbows are tucked in towards my tummy at all times. And I'm going to make a 3-second pause at the shin as well. You notice me here not going down all the way to the chest, and this is because I do not need to, because when I go all the way down to my chest, it's easier to lose the tension in the lower traps and start engaging the upper traps. So in order to keep the tension in just the lower traps, just pause at your shin. And then slowly go up and lock out your elbows first without releasing the lower traps, and then you release the shoulder blades and redo the entire movement. But you have to go very slow, very strict, and always make sure to film yourself so you can see that you're using the lower traps and not the upper traps.
Another thing that you want to be aware of, apart from the technique, is 1, you have to use very light weights. For example, when I started learning how to engage my lower traps, what I had to do is I had to go from 60 plus kilos in the lat pull down to 10 kilos. The weight isn't the goal here. The goal is to engage the lower traps. And the lower traps are a very small muscle group that you basically engage it through contraction, not through putting on more weight. The more weight you put on, the less strict is your movement gonna be, and the more your lats is gonna pull up and get into the exercise. But you want just your lower traps to contract here when you're warming up for the bench press. This is different if you're just doing it to build lats. However, I did this 3 times a week, only this type of technique, only really strict lower trap light weights, and I went from this to this. So you can still build muscle size by doing this, but it's basically just for lower traps. So I had to go down and start with 10 kilos and just focus on the movement. Number 2 is don't be discouraged if you don't feel your lower traps in the beginning. So when you start doing this, it may very well be that you do the right technique in the movement and you can see yourself on video doing the right technique in movement, but your upper traps is still engaged and you may not even be able to feel anything down at your lower traps. This does not mean that you're doing something wrong and that you have to increase the weight. It just means you have to practice more. So for me, it took about a month for me to actually really learn the technique and learn to engage my lower traps. Another thing, number 3, is you don't have to go all the way down to your chest, because when you do so, your elbows are probably gonna fall out a little bit, and that can mean lats and upper traps taking over. We want the lower traps engaged. So in the beginning, when you're new you to do. Stop at your shin, do the pause there. When you can do 6 reps completely controlled, you can go to 8 reps completely controlled. Then you can increase the weight. When you can do that, still get contact and just use your lower traps, then you can start going all the way down with 6 reps and do the same process again. And number 4, this will help your bench press. No matter what you think, if you can utilize this into the bench, that's another video. That's another video on how to contract the lower traps in the bench. But if you can learn and find and get mind to muscle connection from your mind to your lower traps and contract, I can stand up straight up and just contract my lower traps a lot. For example, let me show. So I push my chest up and there I can also go. And I can find the muscle all the way, always. And that's why I can, at an instant, find it in my bench and use it. And you can also, for number 5, know that contracting the lower traps is what will create the arch in your bench. So your bench arch is not supposed to come from bending your lower back. Not at all. If you do that, no wonder you don't progress, and no wonder you just feel shit and I don't know. But either way, the fact is you want to contract your lower traps. And you can see when I do this, and also when you saw me doing the lat pull down, I look like a duck. And that's just because of how I'm built. When I contract these muscles, I can't be upright and just contract them. Then I'm gonna use a lot of other muscles. So when I contract my lower traps, I get into a higher arch automatically, and then because I got a big butt, I get a very big arch. That's one of the reasons. So your arch that you get in the bench press should be natural for you specifically, based on how your body moves when you contract and engage the lower traps. And this is gonna be game changing when you realize you don't have to try and bend your back all that you can. You just have to try and engage and contract the lower traps all that you absolutely can. I hope this helped. And super quick before I leave, if you want feedback on your technique every single bench session that you do, and feedback on your lat pull downs every single session that you do, to get feedback if you can actually use the lower traps, get better in bench, etc., my coaching is available. You can click the link below, click in my profile, the link there, if you want to schedule a free consultation call, and we'll go over everything and talk about how everything works and all, and we'll see where it goes. But it's a free consultation call, so it's completely free to get if you want to actually get coaching and feedback on this area. Otherwise, I hope the video really helped you. Make sure to stay tuned for the next video, and I hope you like it, and subscribe if you want to see more.